on everyone's lips at the moment right now are Chelsea Football Club officially in the title race? And if not, would a win against Villa on Sunday confirm that they are indeed? Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. The race, the route to 10,000 subscribers is ever approaching. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 o'clock. With almost a third of the season over with, Chelsea are flying high at the moment. After 12 games, currently sat in third place. 9 points off of top spot and just 1 point off of second. This time last year, let me tell you something. This time last year, we were in 10th. We were in the depths, or in the middle. But all the same, we were in the depths of hell when it comes to the recent history, more so. But we went through some tough times, some hard times, but it's all paying off now, at least for now. 6 points worse off than we are right now. Now, obviously, we play the earlier game on Sunday, but later that day, Liverpool face Manchester City in a battle of first versus second. And frankly, a draw is absolutely what we should desire from that game. Every Chelsea fan around the world will be watching. Should we win and they draw, we'd go a point above Manchester City into second place, and we'd be just 7 points off of top. Wishful thinking, but what do you think? Are we in and amongst the title race? Are we teetering around that area, or do we need to wait a couple more months and assess closer to the time when a title race could actually be on the cards? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, for this game, we face an Unai Emery Aston Villa, who are currently going through a horrid run of form. Winless in the last 4 Premier League games. Villa have actually gone 7 games now without a win in all competitions, with their last victory in the league coming up against Fulham back in mid-October. Draws to Bournemouth and Palace either side of 2 losses against Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool. They will be looking to get things back on track. And what better place than Stamford Bridge is what many clubs would have said over the last couple of seasons. And they may well have thought that themselves. But what people might have thought over the last years isn't necessarily a reality these days. Chelsea have obviously lost just 1 at home this season on the opening day against Manchester City, which, looking back on it now, is probably rather disappointing considering the state of City as of late. Chelsea have quite the opposite in terms of form in the league. Unbeaten in the last 4 since our defeat to league leaders Liverpool. The Blues have won 2 games against Newcastle and most recently Leicester, either side of 2 draws against United and Arsenal. So where do we expect to go from here? A win against Villa would serve us once again, would serve as a great motivator in our run in for a race for Champions League. Not for the title necessarily just yet, but for the Champions League next season. And arguably the Champions League is the most important thing above all else. We might win the league. Who knows? But more importantly, it's getting back into the elite level of European football, not playing against these fucking what even is an Astana, for Christ's sake. But arguably our most difficult matchup in the lineup that we have coming up in the build-up to the new year. We may go unbeaten. If all goes to plan in this game. Let me know your thoughts on this run of fixtures, because, you know, we've got Tottenham to play, but we do have Everton. We've got Ipswich. We've got Fulham, so on, so forth. Brentford. There's a host of London derbies to be had, but if we can get past Villa, I think we could be onto something. Team news, and Pedro Neto and Malo Gusto are expected to be available on Sunday after recovering from injury and illness, respectively. Now, do I think Pedro Neto slots straight back into that 11? More than likely, because his was only illness. Malo Gusto, with an injury, it might be something different. We're going to get into that in just a second. But first, Maresca obviously was able to make 10 changes to his starting 11 against Heidenheim in midweek, or yesterday in the time of recording this, with Benoit Badiashile the only player retaining his place. Our starting 11 for this game will be a lot different. So let's delve into that, shall we? As you can see, we have... if I can get it up on the screen, I mean Jorgensen, eh? Who says no to him? But if we're being realistic, Sanchez does start in this game. In defence, I know I said about injury-wise and illness-wise, one not necessarily being able to feature and one probably being able to feature. I'm going to go back on what I was saying, and you'll see later for why. Gusto on the right. James is out for the foreseeable, so we're pretty fucked in that position, in that sense. Disasi obviously played against Heidenheim in the right, but, you know, Fofana has played on the right, but, you know. Cucurella on the left is what I would like to see, and what I think we will see. Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill will make up my back two. And again, should make up the back two as a whole. In midfield, I think, you know, Dewsbury Hall, Cassidy, not so much, obviously getting a red card the other day. And who else? Vega played a more central role in that game. So, you know, it's up for debate who plays where. But I am going to go with the obvious. I'm going to go with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. If they could play minutes after coming back from a South American flight, then I think they can play against Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge. Playing in front of them, I think it's obvious. I think Palmer plays, and this is where it gets a little tricky. Not up top, although many would argue, maybe, just maybe, we should be seeing Nkunku play some capacity at this point, because he is now 11 goals in all competitions, I believe is the number. But I do think Jackson will start or pip him to the spots. On the right, this is where it gets a bit tricky, you know, because Madueke, not everyone's cup of tea these days. When is he ever everyone's cup of tea? Am I right? I'm still backing him, but I do understand the qualms. I do understand the you know, the moans that people have. But is he ready to be dropped? He's not. Is Maresca ready to drop him? I don't think so. I think Madueke is actually one of the first players on any team sheet that Maresca puts together. I think he likes him that much. So I'm going to have him on the right. And now this is where it gets really tricky, because we've got Joao Felix, who played against Leicester on the last weekend. You've got Sancho, who played really well against Heidenheim and is back. Is he likely to start? It's unlikely. Mikhail Mudryk again. Oops. Mikhail Mudryk is a player that is more than ever vying for that starting position. A great goal against Heidenheim on Thursday night. And, you know, I think he's closer to starting than probably Nkunku at this point. I don't know. It seems like Nkunku can't do anything to get in this starting 11, but Mudryk, I think, is closer to starting than anyone on that left-hand side. To starting than Nkunku is to starting in any capacity. We've also got Pedro Neto. You know, will he start? Probably, let's be honest. So I'm going to go with him. Joao Felix did obviously fill in for him in the Leicester game. Was I overly impressed? I think everyone was statistically, but watching him at times quite frustrating, I think. I know that's against what a lot of people were saying in the game, and apparently I need to get my eyes tested, because apparently Joao Felix was the best fucking player on the pitch, and I tend to disagree. With that said, I think this is, for the most part, what we're going to see, and that is a pretty bog-standard Chelsea side as of late. I say bog-standard in the best way possible, because it's a pretty good team. So Sanchez in goal, Gusto Fofana, Colwill Cucurella at the back. Caicedo and Enzo with Palmer just in front. Madueke and Neto on the wings, with Jackson up top. Let me know your starting 11 in the comments down below. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, predictions for this game. Predictions-wise, I think Chelsea are always on the cusp of an error towards the end of any game as of late. Our almost catastrophic ending versus Leicester. Cassidy getting sent off in the injury time in midweek. There is no escaping the heart palpitations that this club brings to its fans. At the same time, besides all that, as of late, we tend to get the job done. So as I said earlier in the video, if we can get all 3 points here today, the run-in that we have to come following this will feel all that more appealing. With that said, I'm going to go with 3-1 Chelsea to win. I can't remember the last time I predicted a win, but that's what I'm going to go with. I think that whilst Villa will be aiming to get things right on the, back on the right track, Chelsea won't be the side to let that happen, causing issues in our own good run of form. I don't think so. Maresca ain't having it. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. Please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. My name is Harry, up the Chelsea, and peace.